The 1979 United States of America $1 coin, often referred to as the Susan B. Anthony dollar, represents a pivotal moment in the numismatic and social history of the United States. Issued as part of the series introduced to replace the larger Eisenhower dollar coins, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar was notable for being the first U.S. coin to feature a real, historical female figure instead of symbolic representation like Lady Liberty. Designed by Frank Gasparo, whose initials FG appear beneath the bust on the obverse side, this coin reflects a unique intersection of coinage innovation, social progress, and public skepticism. The P mint mark below the date denotes that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the principal facilities of the U.S. mint system. While Philadelphia had long produced coins, 1979 marked one of the earliest times its coins bore a P mint mark, a practice that would become more standardized in later years. On the obverse front of the coin, we see the prominent profile of Susan B. Anthony, the 19th century women's rights activist who played a crucial role in the American suffrage movement. She is shown facing right, with the word liberty inscribed above her head and the date 1979 to the right. Behind her are 13 stars, symbolizing the original 13 colonies. The inclusion of Susan B. Anthony's image was not only symbolic of women's increasing roles in public and political life during the late 20th century, but also served to mark a commitment, albeit a limited one, by the U.S. government to broaden its representation on national currency. The reverse back of the coin depicts an eagle landing on the moon, clutching an olive branch in its talons. This image was derived from the Apollo 11 mission insignia, commemorating the 1969 moon landing and America's technological triumph during the space race. Around the eagle are 13 stars, again representing the original states. The inscription reads United States of America above, with $1 at the bottom. The Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, is inscribed at the right of the eagle. This side of the coin, also designed by Frank Gasparo, had been reused from the Eisenhower dollar series and was meant to inspire patriotic pride and a sense of national achievement. However, despite its historical significance, the $1,979 coin faced several challenges. One of the primary criticisms was its size and appearance. At 26.5 millimeters in diameter, the Susan B. Anthony dollar was only slightly larger than a quarter, 24.3 millimeters, which caused confusion among the public. Many people mistook it for a quarter in everyday transactions, especially because the color, a copper-nickel-clad composition, was nearly identical. This similarity led to widespread rejection of the coin in daily commerce, and it failed to gain popularity. Vending machines, transit systems, and banks were often unprepared to handle the new coins efficiently, further reducing public trust in their utility. In total, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 360 million Susan B. Anthony dollars in 1979, a number that far exceeded demand. The result was vast overproduction and long-term storage of unused coins by the U.S. Treasury. Interestingly, despite its initial rejection, the Susan B. Anthony dollar has since gained appreciation among collectors and numismatists. Its limited run, produced in 1979, 1980, 1981, and briefly in 1999, and unique role in coinage history have made it a subject of renewed interest. Additionally, 1979 was a year of subtle varieties in coin minting. Collectors are especially aware of the wide rim near date and narrow rim far date, varieties of the 1979 P dollar. The wide rim version features the date very close to the rim of the coin and is significantly rarer, making it more desirable to collectors. This variation was part of a mid-year design adjustment intended to reduce the confusion between the dollar and the quarter. From a broader perspective, the Susan B. Anthony dollar serves as a reminder of both progress and resistance in the evolution of American currency. It marked a bold step toward gender representation in coinage, yet also illustrated how logistical and practical issues can thwart even well-intentioned changes. Frank Gasparo, who had also designed the reverse of the Lincoln Memorial Cent, faced criticism for the aesthetics of the coin. Some felt Anthony's portrait was unflattering or too severe, while others argued the coin's overall design lacked the grandeur expected of a national denomination. The legacy of the 1979 piece Susan B. Anthony Dollar is thus a complex one. While it was largely rejected in its time, it remains a powerful artifact of American social history, economic experimentation, and the evolving story of who and what the nation chooses to honor on its currency. It also paved the way for later dollar coins, such as the Sacagawea dollar, introduced in 2000, and the Presidential Dollar series, both of which sought to address the shortcomings of the Anthony dollar while continuing its legacy of representation and innovation in U.S. coinage next top. The 1980 D. Eisenhower dollar, inscribed with United States of America $1 Liberty 1980 DFG, represent a historically significant issue in the final chapter of the large-size U.S. dollar coin era. Minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D mint mark just above the date on the obverse front, this coin was part of the Eisenhower dollar series that began in 1971 and concluded in 1978 for circulation, but uncirculated issues like this continued into 1979 and 1980 for collectors. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and a prominent World War II general. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, whose initials FG appear under the eagle's tail feathers, features an eagle descending onto the moon, clutching an olive branch, a design that honors the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969, one of America's greatest technological and cultural triumphs. This coin's dual symbolism, honoring both Eisenhower's leadership and America's space exploration achievements, adds significant historical and patriotic value. Unlike the silver dollar coins of previous generations, such as the Morgan and Peace dollars, the 1980 Eisenhower dollar was struck in copper-nickel-clad composition, featuring a pure copper core sandwiched between two layers of cupronickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. It was a non-silver issue intended for collectors and special purposes, as the coin's large size and weight, 38.1 millimeters diameter, 22.68 grams, had become impractical for everyday use. Despite the intention to reintroduce the dollar coin into regular circulation, the Eisenhower dollar never gained widespread acceptance due to its bulkiness, especially when compared to paper currency. By 1980, most Americans encountered these coins in bankrolls or as novelty items rather than in daily commerce. Still, over 12.6 million Eisenhower dollars were minted in Denver that year, primarily for collectors and as a continuation of the series' legacy. The 1980 D. Eisenhower dollar is also notable because it was the final year of Eisenhower dollar production before the U.S. Mint transitioned to the smaller-sized dollar coin, the Susan B. Anthony dollar, which had already debuted in 1979. That shift marked a significant change in the U.S. Mint's design and circulation strategy, with focus on creating more compact and user-friendly coins. As such, the 1980 Eisenhower dollar is not only the last of its kind, but also a symbol of changing times in American currency. The coin's design, particularly its reverse based on the Apollo 11 insignia, continues to resonate with collectors who value coins with a strong national theme and historical narrative. In numismatic terms, the 1980 D. Eisenhower dollar is relatively common in circulated condition, but uncirculated examples in high mint state grades, MS65 above, are considerably more desirable, especially those with strong strikes, minimal contact marks, and good luster. The large planchet made it vulnerable to bag marks and weak strikes, so pristine examples are more challenging to find. Coins from this year were issued in mint sets as well, allowing collectors to obtain high-quality specimens directly from the U.S. Mint. While the coin contains no silver, it retains collector interest due to its aesthetic design, historical significance, and role in the transition from silver-era coinage to modern, clad coinage. For collectors and history enthusiasts alike, the 1980 D. Eisenhower dollar offers a tangible link to the final days of America's large-format circulating dollar and serves as a tribute to one of the nation's great leaders and its monumental achievements in space exploration next top. The 1999 P United States $1 coin inscribed with United States of America $1 Liberty, the date 1999, a small P mint mark, and the initials FG for designer Frank Gasparo, is part of a significant transitional chapter in American numismatic history. This coin belongs to the Susan B. Anthony Dollar Series, a short-lived but historically important coinage that originally ran from 1979 to 1981 and was unexpectedly revived for one final year in 1999, making 1999 Susan B. Anthony Dollar is the last small-sized dollar coin struck before the introduction of the golden-colored Sacagawea dollar in 2000. The obverse front of the coin features a portrait of Susan B. Anthony, a pioneer and American social reformer and women's rights activist who played a key role in the women's suffrage movement. Her profile, depicted in a stern and resolute pose facing right, symbolizes strength, justice, and equality. This design was created by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time, whose initials FG appear just below Anthony's shoulder. The word Liberty arcs across the top, while the date 1999 appears to the right of the bust, and the P Mint mark, indicating the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, is located just above the left shoulder. 13 stars surround the portrait, symbolizing the original 13 colonies of the United States. The reverse back of the coin mirrors a motif found on the Apollo 11 mission insignia, originally created for the 1971 Eisenhower dollar and reused for the Susan B. Anthony dollar. It features an American eagle descending toward the surface of the moon, clutching an olive branch in its talons, symbolizing peace and the bold reach of American space exploration. The lunar surface beneath the eagle evokes the moon landing, and the Earth is seen in the distance above the eagle's wings, a design that speaks to America's scientific prowess during the 20th century. Around the reverse of the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many one, and $1, denoting the coin's value. The 1999 Susan B. Anthony dollar was minted in far lower numbers than its 1979 to 1981 counterparts, and its release was largely driven by necessity. By the late 1990s, the U.S. Treasury had exhausted its stockpile of dollar coins, and demand from the United States Postal Service and vending machine industries necessitated the rapid production of new coins. Because the Sacagawea dollar design was not yet finalized or ready for circulation, the Mint decided to produce a limited run of Susan B. Anthony dollars for 1999, making it the first dollar coin issued solely as a stopgap measure between two major design transitions. Approximately 29.6 million Susan B. Anthony dollars were minted in Philadelphia in 1999, along with additional production at the Denver and San Francisco mints. The 1999 P dollar is therefore considered somewhat more scarce than many earlier issues, and while it is not exceptionally rare in circulated condition, uncirculated examples, especially in higher grades like MS-66 or MS-67, can command premiums from collectors. The coin's metal composition consists of a copper core clad in manganese brass, actually a copper-nickel alloy, giving it a silvery appearance similar to a quarter, which led to public confusion when it was first released, as it was often mistaken for 25-cent pieces in everyday transactions. In terms of historical significance, the 1999 Susan B. Anthony dollar is important for representing the end of an era. It is the last coin of the 20th century to feature a real historical figure before the Sacagawea dollar introduced a new design and a new millennium of coinage aesthetics. The reintroduction of this coin in 1999 also serves as a case study in monetary policy, design practicality, and public perception, highlighting the ongoing challenge the U.S. Mint faced in gaining widespread acceptance for dollar coins in a society deeply reliant on paper currency. In modern times, the 1999 piece Susan B. Anthony dollar is sought after by numismatists and casual collectors alike, particularly as part of a complete set of Anthony dollars or as a symbolic link between the past and future of U.S. currency. Though it circulated for only a short period, it is emblematic of America's evolving views on representation, innovation, and the enduring legacy of trailblazing women in national history.